Hey man, how's it going?
Good, man. What's going on, boss?
Oh, not too much. Just kind of getting everything set up here for you. It's good to see you. It's good to see you're doing well here through quarantine. It's kind of a crazy time right now.
Yes, man. It's as good as it could get. You know what I mean? As far as like, I'm just trying to see the silver lining and everything, and take advantage of everything. You know what I'm saying? Like what we can do and what we have the ability to do with everything going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's good and bad with everything going on. I mean, we definitely have this time to work on ourselves, to work on our crafts, to work on kind of everything, and kind of distract us from all of the difficulties that are going on right now too.
Yeah. Shout out King Cash. I see you. Yeah. But real stuff though, man. Real talk. Real talk.
Yeah, so I wanted to first start off by just kind of for anybody that's jumping on that doesn't know your music, you definitely have the chopper style to yourself, but you also have kind of a rap metal influence to you. You look at the song like "I Won't Quit," where you actually have a band performing with you.
Yeah.
Where did that kind of influence come in? And was that always something that was involved with you, or did that kind of grow as you expanded your music?
It's always been there. I can definitely say I've always had a rock influence in my music because I didn't just grow up only listening to one kind of music. Like I got into music from playing classical music. Like my aunt, she passed of cancer, may God rest her soul, but she taught me how to play some furry leads. You know what I mean? And then she taught me about classical music. So that's how I got into like learning how to like produce and make beats. So classical music is a super influence. I've always been a rock fan, you know what I'm saying? So, and I've always been a lover of hip hop. So once I was able to start producing certain types of beats and being around, people that, do know how to play guitar, and people that know how to shred or play the drums, I was like, hey, let's start doing stuff together. You know what I mean? So it's always been there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, that's how I grew up playing, playing in bands, playing in like concert bands, jazz band, that type of stuff. So I had a lot of that classical influence in my music growing up. And then I was always a metalhead in high school.
Hmm.
Really didn't know much about hip hop until I got to college level. So it's kind of
Hmm.
neat to know, your story and how a lot of different influences. And I can see that's one of the reasons why I like your music, is you can tell there's a lot of influence to your music in general.
I appreciate
Um,
that, man.
Absolutely. So the other thing I wanted to really jump into here is, May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Mhm.
It's something that I hold really true to myself. After the last 5 or 6 years, I've been dealing a lot with general anxiety disorder and dealing a lot with my own mental health and growing from it. And so this is another thing that I've really seen myself in your music, in the sense that your openness to talk about things has also given me an ability to be open with myself as well. So what kind of does this month mean to you, and where do you see your music along with this?
You said what does the month mean to me, and what about music?
And how does your music kind of tie into what mental health has been in your life?
Okay, so what the month means to me is is everything because um you don't really see too much about it in the mainstream media a lot. And that's one thing I've always noticed. Like even when I first, like I've always made music on the topic just because I wanted to put my life in music. There's nothing else I want to put in music other than my life. So it's like my music is about me. I'm selling me, I'm branding me. And so I've always talked about, growing up with depression, or growing up, battling suicidal thoughts, coming from, broken homes, going through, drug addiction, and growing up watching people you feel me? I've been through pretty damn near everything that you could damn near name possibly. So once I started really getting traction and people started relating to it. I didn't think people wanted to hear it. I thought it was, you know, too sad. You feel me? But at the same time, I was like, I gotta get it out some way. And when I was in a mental hospital, because I was in a mental hospital probably like 4 or 5 years straight, back to back, in and out, you know, inpatient, outpatient, inpatient, outpatient. Then I got put under the board of mental health by way of a petition. And so it forced me to have to go to group therapy. I had to complete everything, you know what I mean, chronologically, and the way that they formatted it for me to get out. So I had to listen. I had to start going to group. I had to start, you know what I mean, taking my meds like they were tracking me, because if I didn't, then they would lock me back up. So in that time period, I learned a lot, and I learned how to express it. So once I got out the last time that I was in, which was like several years ago, I just was like, I'm gonna write about it more. I'm gonna do songs about it. My music started taking a little bit of traction, and then I started doing songs like "Don't Let Go," and I seen that type of music that I did is what people gravitated towards. So then I was like, oh, okay, that's dope. You feel me? Like, I'm gonna run with this mental health thing, because it's literally me. It's everything that I battle, and people loved it, and they told me, hey, do more songs like this, do more songs like this, talk about stuff like this. So that became my brand. So to see that we have like months dedicated to it, I'm like, yo, let's take this above and beyond, because there's so many people that don't get the shine, or the platform that they need, you know, within this whole mental health realm. That's what I feel like. And that's the answer, you know, both questions at once. I had to tie it into my music, because it means that much to me. Like, going out on the road, people saying I saved their life. You know, I helped them get off drugs. You know, whatever the case may be, stop them from killing themselves. Like, on my album Autophobia, there's this guy on there who he left me a voice message in Facebook. His brother called me on Facebook one day. He was like, ISO, man, I don't know what to do, man. My brother, man, he's got a gun to his head right now, and I'm FaceTiming him, and I don't know what to do, man. I'm gonna send him one of your songs. I don't know. And I'm like, yo, man, you know, me just being ISO, I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. Like, man, I
Right.
hope he's all good. Like, I'll talk to him and he sent them the song I did called Don't Let Go. And the dude literally hit me afterwards, and he was like, I decided not to kill myself. And he came to a show with his family, and everybody's crying and thanking me. When I seen that, I was like, okay, I really need to do something with this mental health thing, because one life, you know what I mean, is everything. You feel me? So I'm like, we gotta figure this out. We gotta do more, you know?
Absolutely, and I think it's important for you not only to realize that, but to realize that you have this platform to speak and to change people's lives on that mentality of just being able to say, you know, not only is it me, it's authentic, it's who I am, but I also recognize what it's doing to help others, and that makes me want to push harder. And I think
Yeah.
that's a really important side to it too. And I think one of the things that really interests me is to know, you know, signing with Strange Music, you have Chris Calico there, who's never been shy to talk about mental health with, you know, Stop the World and Anxiety and Unstoppable. And did working with these artists, you know, Tech Nine has definitely been able to step into the realm of mental health as well. Did signing with them and working with these artists, did this kind of did it feel natural in that sense, or did it like inspire you further to do more work?
To be all the way 100, Tech has been my main influence since I've started music. Um, so it was like, I got to a point where, okay, like I said, I started gaining traction after I got out the hospital. I was homeless at the time. I started rocking with this group, Brain Sick Music, and I was over there, with a cat by the name of Twisted Insane. And I thought it was a perfect situation because of the name, period, and how it was able to work. I'm thinking like, okay, some people might have looked at the name Brain Sick as like, oh, it just sounds dope. It's just, it just has a dark feel to it. Some people just like dark vibes. For me, I'm like, no, it's a perfect fit, because brain sick embodies exactly everything I've been through. Like I've had a sick brain since I was a child. So when we started going out on them shows, me and my guy Pyro, who was known as Bishop at the time, he was like, do the don't let go thing. We created like this little format. And people were like, don't let go, don't let go, don't let go. Do stuff like they start chanting it back. So once Tech Nine really got wind of it, I already knew that he was, you know what I mean? He is who he was. I met him when I was 15. I wanted to be with him since I started rapping. But I
Right.
knew that Chris Calico and him had songs like that, and I knew. But what happened was I started doing shows with them, and then we went from being like crowds of like 200, 300, 400 people to Tech will put you on stage in front of 14,000 people. And if I'm up there rapping, when you wake up in the morning and you know feel like you don't want to get up out of bed, don't let go, and a whole crowd of 14,000 people is screaming that back to me, and I'm shaking all of these hands, and people are crying, and they're like, "You saved my life, and you made me." I've had people come to me after shows and say, "I had a plan to kill myself tonight, and if it wasn't for you, I would have went through it. That this was going to be my last hip hop show." That it's that type of shit scares me, but it also motivates me to say I have a job to do. So to answer your question, yeah, getting over there, I already knew what I wanted to do, but the fact that I found out that there was so many more people that needed healing, I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I'm gonna do.
Absolutely, and that's really great too, to be able to expand that message to as many people as you can, and being with Tech is definitely helped get that message across to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So jumping into your new music too, and World War Me, talking about that song with Remember Me is a little bit older, but
Mm-hmm.
these are topics that aren't necessarily. I mean, you kind of alluded to it earlier. They're not easy to talk about. They're even more difficult sometimes to talk about in the realm of hip hop, where
Mm-hmm.
the mainstream is focused so heavily on the glitz and glamour, on the money, the women, everything else. So how are you able to carve out this type of mentality and put it into a package that was, I don't want to say easier to consume, but like was able to reach the masses and still be able to go out and perform a show like this, and take the music?
So that's like that's my that was my biggest battle, because of course I go to live shows and I say, okay, what do people want? People want to go to live shows to have fun, and they want energy, and they want to turn up, and they want to. But see, what I did was I said, okay, if I go out there and I rap my ass off and I get everybody's attention, once I have everybody's attention and they're listening to me, they're tuned in, they're like, okay, I want to hear what he has to say. Then I blindside him. I'm gonna blindside you with something that you need to hear. You feel me? It's almost like back then I didn't like going to church like that. Like I just didn't like, you feel me? Like it was a lot of drama that took place within the church that we went to when I was a kid. I just didn't like it. But sometimes you'll go to church and then you'll get blindsided with some shit you need to hear. You be like, damn, I feel like the universe is talking to me. So that's how I did it. It was more so like, okay, we're all turned up having fun now. Anybody in here that's going through anything, anybody in here that's ever been through anything, I want to talk to you about something. I'm able to stand on this stage and be able to do this because you know what I mean? Then it turns into oh, okay, now it's a therapy session. Now
Right.
he just actually said that he gives a fuck about us as a people rather than some consumers just at a show. He actually said something that mattered that we could take with us from this show. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? You
Yeah,
put
the old sneaking peas into the mac and cheese. Use
I,
that.
yeah, but you feel me? Because you got to think. It's like you go to a show, and or somebody puts you on. Think about the power of this: to stand on stage in front of 20,000 people, and they're all listening to what you have to say. Number one, the anxiety that creates is undefinable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
But
can't imagine that.
you stand on Tech is gonna put you on stage like, and you gonna stand out there and see like we did Red Rocks, and my first time sitting on the Red Rock stage, I'm like, damn, this is a lot of people. Like, what do I say? And I got up there and I said, mental health matters. And I said, everybody going through, and I just said, this is a time to be able to say it. because maybe nobody said it to him.
Absolutely, man. And it's impressive to see the way that you are able to take that type of mentality, bring it to the stage, and still, you still have an ability to make it a fun live show while talking about some difficult concepts. So it is really dope. And this kind of brings us into the first of what this whole podcast is about, the quarantine questions. We're put into isolation now with this quarantine, and you're alone, you're by yourself a little bit more often.
Yeah.
And with that, it forces you to kind of look at yourself more often. And so one thing that I notice is I do a lot of weird stuff when I'm by myself, whether it's just like making funny faces or like when I'm, singing along to songs. So like, what's one thing that you've caught yourself doing that you thought like, what am I doing right now?
Yo, to be all the way 100, I have a lot of what is the word? Like outward conversations with myself. I talk to myself out loud.
Yep.
I like, and I didn't really, because usually, because I'm always thinking it's up here. Usually, because everybody does. They're in their head like, what am I gonna do? Should I call so and so? You know what? I think I gotta go to this. I'm gonna go to this. Am I gonna go to the store? Nah. But like, I do that out loud. You know what I mean? Like, I'll mess around and do something stupid, and I'll be like, "Come on, ISO, what are you doing?" And I say that out loud, and I realize that I do that in front of people. Like, I'll make a mistake, and I'm like, "Come on, ISO, what are you doing?" And they'll look at me like, "Did he just say that?" Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely know how that, like, especially when you're talking like, when you're like thinking out loud and you're thinking about like, what am I going to do later today? Like, yeah, I've definitely had those conversations. So, and then the next thing that I wanted to talk about is diet. So, especially in the early months of the year, a lot of people are honing in their diets. They're trying to get their body back into shape after winter. They're starting their New Year's resolutions, everything like that. Coronavirus has kind of thrown all of that out the window. It's people are eating for comfort, they're eating for whatever they want. So what's one thing that either you can't get enough of during isolation, or one thing that you've overeaten?
Man. Man, I hope my personal trainers don't see this. But man, it's okay. So there's this fish spot that originated out of Kansas City. It's called Luffy's, and it's Tech put me onto it. It's his family, owns it or something like that, and they opened up a location down here in Omaha. And I go in. I know I'm supposed to be getting. Usually, I get the blackened catfish with the vegetables. You know what I'm saying? And I get like some smoked green beans. You know what I mean? I keep it real light. But they got this fried catfish in there, and they got the fried shrimp, and they got the spaghetti, and they got the strawberry shortcake with the whipped cream and the. Oh my God, bro! I had to give. I just got back on my kick, like probably for like the past 2 weeks. Last 3 weeks. I've been in there I got 2 personal trainers. I go to the gym twice a day, and I get my diet back together. You know what I'm saying? But I was tearing up some fried foods during this quarantine.
Absolutely, man. I have a problem with sweets. So this whole month of May, I've been off of like sugary snacks and stuff like that. But I know like end of May is my birthday, so like that's gonna be my treat at the end to go hard on the treats that I missed out on. So the live music world has kind of come to a halt recently. We don't know when it's coming back, but it doesn't stop artists from creating music, from getting their music out there, from doing live shows. So what's something that you've seen or done personally through this quarantine that's kind of been like an innovative thing that you thought like, dang, it's interesting how somebody is getting their music out there?
Like what you said, what do I think is an innovative way for them to get their music out here?
Yeah, have you seen anything that you've thought like, oh, that's a creative way to get your music out to the consumers at this time?
To be 1,000, I love what's going on with TikTok. And at first I was anti it. I'm like, man, because I come from the era of music where we had to sell music out the trunk and there was no internet. We had AOL startup discs. You know what I mean? And then, MySpace came along, and then, Soldier Boy, and then like ringtones. And
Yep.
so I'm cut from that 90s hip hop era. So to see how things are moving now, it's almost like, okay, you have to grow with the times and you have to adjust with the times. Now everything is Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, it's a Twitch. It's so
Yep.
many different apps. So I had to really sit back and I had to pay attention to the climate. Like, people are getting on TikTok, playing instruments or just rapping over a beat and getting 1 million views and
Yep.
getting all these followers. And then they start blowing up, and people are discovering people because now you don't have to wait for a record label to broadcast you. You can broadcast yourself.
Absolutely.
You can literally just go live on Instagram
Right.
and get a viral video, and labels will come looking for you. You know what I mean? They're like, who is this? Who's this guy that was rapping over? That's the thing that I like, how innovative people are. They'll do videos in their bathroom. You know what I mean? They'll do a music video in their living room. They don't have to pay some big fucking what do you call it? Video cinematography company to come
Right.
to the video. They'll get their iPhone and they'll download a video cutting app and make a fucking video at home. You know what
And
I mean?
and it's crazy. I talk about this a lot with just music in general. People get upset by, some of the lanes that hip hop has started to go down. But to me, I look at it and I say, without expanding out that way, you're not going to get somebody like Atmosphere in the Twin Cities here. You're not going to get somebody like Tech Nine if you have to stay in one lane, that hip hop has to be this one thing. And it's the same thing with this. Like, there's something to be said about somebody that can go hire the big cinematography crew, put together this big production, make this incredible video. But when you have, 3 million people making videos in their backyard, making videos in their living room, a handful of those are going to create something that really carves a new lane and creates a new whole style.
Some of these people are geniuses,
Right.
and they just don't have the Hollywood connect. Some of these people, you got what's her name? Billie Eilish. You
Yep.
know what I mean? You got some of those people who can win Grammys recording music in their closet. You
Yep.
got people that, you know what I mean, are hilarious Instagram comedians that make videos of them talking to themselves and
Right.
playing multiple characters, like Eddie Murphy. You know what I mean? And what it does is it gives you damn near a level playing field as the superstars, because now, you know what I mean? Now you're on Instagram and you have as many followers as Martin Lawrence. You know what I mean? And now Martin Lawrence is like, hey man, you kind of funny. Now the
Right.
goats are reaching out to you, and now you're doing collabs with them, and now you get put into a movie, and now you're a big star. You started off being on Wild and Out with Nick Cannon, and now you know what I mean?
You're
It's
right.
like
Yep.
I've watched Instagram comedians have 500 followers. I'm like, oh, you funny, man. You know what I'm saying? And you got your Ha Ha Davises or certain people I've watched
Right.
blow up.
Absolutely. And I think you're right. The big thing is level playing fields, because what it does is it allows, you're going to get a ton of, bad content, in a sense, where you're these people that just, you think you're funny, so you turn a camera on. But you're going to get the people that are these really funny people that just don't have a way to get people to see them. Now, just by buying a smartphone, you have a way to get everybody to see you.
Look, man, imagine if Seth Rogen, imagine if, you feel me, Steve Carell
Right.
would have fucking been on Instagram
Oh,
in the early stages of their career. People like Will Ferrell. Imagine if they
absolutely.
had
Oh,
these tools. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? They like like I say, some of these people are real life geniuses, and you're like, yo, like there are some people that probably blew up that some of these kids don't even realize that it's because of the internet.
Exactly. Yep. And
Yeah,
it's
somebody said Dave Chappelle. Imagine if Dave Chappelle was making some of those skits
oh,
on an iPhone before Comedy Central even thought about a Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle TikTok is something I would have loved.
Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's giving these kids an opportunity to say, I don't need a Nickelodeon or a Disney or somebody to come get me.
Exactly.
I'll make 10 million off of a YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? Myself, like
It also boosts, one of the things I think is great is it boosts independent money making. You know, people don't have to wait for a comedy club to give them a contract. They don't have to wait for somebody to give them this contract. And then when they are ready to give them a contract, they're saying, I'm already pulling in 600,000 a year. So why am I going to sign this contract with you unless you're going to give me more than that? And you're going to give me what I like, the creative ability to do what I want to do. Because if not, I'm already set. So I think that's another big part of it there.
yeah, it gives you the power to legit be independent. It gives you the power to say, you know what, I'm in control of my career, and I'm gonna do what I want to do, whether y'all help me out or not. Because that's, if you really think about it, that's the defining point in so many people's career. It's probably somebody that's doper than Eminem, right? Somebody that's way doper than Eminem right now, right? Or that was when he was coming up. They didn't have the resources that he was able to obtain. And
Right.
we'll never hear from this person. They probably are, just decided to work at Walmart or AutoZone, or
Right.
you feel me, or go be a line cook somewhere because
Absolutely.
because it's tough. You feel me? And to think, what if Tech Nine would have said, I'm not gonna do music because the industry doesn't rock with me. And that's what he was going through. They were like, oh man, it was this guy painting his face with this red hair. We don't want this guy. And then you got a Travis O'Gwen that comes along and says, hey, I help you, let's come together and do. So now we have the internet to where we'll be like, yo, this is dope. And you don't have a company telling you it's not dope because your 2 million followers say otherwise,
Right.
and your Spotify stream numbers say otherwise, and
Yep.
you made $100,000 by yourself off music because your supporter said otherwise.
Right. Yeah, and that's really a big part of it. Um so the next thing I want to jump into is just music tends to be a huge outlet for a lot of creative people, whether you're listening to it while you create, whether you're creating music yourself.
Uh-huh.
But there's also, like, this time has definitely given me an ability to check on other assets of my creativity. So one thing I've gotten into a lot is drawing lately.
Yeah.
Is there anything that's like through this quarantine that you realized like was a hidden talent of yours, or something that you maybe wanted to try but never got around to it before?
Man, one thing that I really like enjoy is being involved in the fitness world. I didn't realize that I knew so much about it, to where I've had people tell me like, "Yo, ISO, you should be like a fitness influencer. You should go and get certified, and you should like make that a part of your repertoire. You should, you know what I mean?" And I
Yeah.
was like, you know what? I've been working out for 2 or 3 years, and a couple of my best friends are trainers, and I have all of the knowledge, and I actually have like certified nutritionist friends who have told me a lot. I was like, you know what? This is probably and I get a lot of people in the gym. I have a group of friends. I keep them in the gym with me, and I try to get them eating healthy, and we help each other out. You know what I mean? Pyro, Cash, my little brother JB, my guy Spurlock. You'll see them all on my page. So I'm like, you know what? We could do something with this. And the eye soldiers have asked me, ISO, man, you should come out with some supplements. You should come out with some workout gear. And You know what I mean? It's kind of it's happening on its own.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, so I'm like, oh, you know, maybe I have a knack there. You know what I'm saying? Mhm.
Absolutely. That's dope. That there's actually we'll get back to some of these questions a little bit later. We got one more question here, and then we'll jump into some of the fan questions. So,
Mhm.
um, the last one I have for you is, society, it's definitely not just going to shoot back open. But as we slowly start to re-enter society and things come back to us, what's one thing that you can't wait to like come back into society?
Shows. Live shows. That's all I
Absolutely.
want to do is all I want to do is there's no there is no better rush musically than being at a live show. Being at a live show or even performing, it's equally the same. Like going to shows, you get to kick out so much dope emotion. Like, okay, so when I was on tour with Tech, of course, like they have the best stage show, period, when it comes to, rap music. It's just period. I would actually, be a performer, but I would stand in the crowd and I'd watch all of it. As soon as I got off stage, I'm watching the whole show. I'm not gonna go kick it backstage and, be in the green room. Like, no, I actually enjoy both sides because I remember being a fan. I remember being a fan at the
Right.
shows. Like, one day I'm gonna be up there rapping with them, yeah, in the mosh pit doing Riot Maker and shit. And now
Absolutely,
I'm
man.
actually on stage with them, so it's like I still know how it feels to be on the outside of the industry, wanting to be on the inside of the industry. So that feeling you get at a live show, I we gotta we gotta get this COVID shit out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna lose it without live shows.
Yeah, and that's true, and it's one of those things that, when I first started writing about music, even before I got into photography, the thing I always wanted to do was capture like how it felt in the moment to be in those shows, whether it was once I started doing photography or whether it was how I was writing things,
Mm-hmm.
because that's really to me like that's a place of solace. Like that's a
Yeah.
place where when I'm at a show, there's nothing else is going on around me. Like there's no mental health or disorders. There's no. It's
Yep.
just so engulfed in that positive.
Yep.
Well, whatever the music is. So it's great, and that's really the one thing that I'm craving the most is just being back at a show. Like I don't care if I'm taking photos or not, just being in that
That
environment is
yeah,
definitely.
yeah. It's something about that. It's something about that environment, man. It's what's the word? It's it's therapeutic.
Right. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So let's jump into some of these fan questions here. I got one pinned up here. It said, if you could, and coming right off of your fitness questions, that if you could have your own personal pair of dumbbells to take on tour to pump before the show, it goes, what weight do you prefer? What like how much weight would you prefer? She said, I'm bringing
I
you a gift.
Oh, what's up, Sugar Mama 420? I would definitely, and that's very kind of you too. I appreciate that. I would I would definitely probably use some 30s. Like some 30-pound dumbbells. I like the rounded ones. You
Yep.
know, they're like because it's a stable weight. It's not heavy and it's not light. It's kind of like right in the middle. You know what I mean? Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. Whenever I can't find like heavy dumbbells, I definitely run towards the 30s. I can get a good amount of reps with those and a good pump in. So that means a lot. I appreciate that.
So here's one I just saw it come through here. What's one of your biggest plans once all this ends?
Hmm. Look, I just wanted. I look. I'm gonna tour, and I'm gonna tour, and I am gonna tour. I just want to get out there and be around the eye soldiers and the technicians because there's no better. Like I literally feel equivalent to having group therapy when I'm at shows. It's almost like imagine like okay, I battle all this mental health stuff. And that's why I did the song Jealous with Mackenzie Nicole. Because the crazy thing is there's a big percentage of people that don't. So when you get around people that do and they're able to relate to you, those are the people you want to be around. I want to be around people that understand me, people that can converse with me, people that I don't have to feel weird saying I was diagnosed with, you know what I mean, schizoaffective disorder and bipolar 2. You know, I have this, that. Some people are like, what? That's, you know, they don't get it. And I'm not knocking them, and that's no,
Right.
you know, but it's like, it's way better when I made a post on Facebook a long time ago. I was like, I never felt judged when I was in the mental hospitals, because how are you going to judge me and you're in here with me?
Right.
So we all know we're all messed up right now. So we have no choice but to be cool with each other. So when we go do group therapy, everybody's got some sort of messed up story. When we're past, we used to do this thing where it was a ball, like a beach ball, and it had like affirmations on it and questions that we throw it and you catch the ball, and whatever your thumb landed on, it could be name 5 of your greatest strengths, and then it'd be name 5 of your flaws. So we opened up dialogue. So to be at a show where I could open up dialogue and people want me to open up dialogue so they can do the same, this is my favorite place to be.
Absolutely. And it's true. And there's something to be said, not just about people that understand what you're going through in the sense that they're understanding of what's going on, but also knowing that somebody else is going through that. I think there's a calmness in knowing that like you're not the only person that's dealing with these type of problems, or that's dealing with problems in general. So when you're around people that are not only understanding you, but sometimes are going through similar things, I think that's also an important aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let's go with one more question here for you. There was one up here I just saw. Who is your Mount Rushmore of rap? That's a good one.
Mm. Oh, so my Mount Rushmore of rap. So they want me to name
The
a
top
couple.
4, I think.
Yeah, top. Man, let me see. You said top 4. Top 4. Ooh, I'm gonna just do top 5. I have to do top
All
5.
right. All right.
Because there's like certain you just can't leave out. So I have to definitely start with Ice Cube. Then we have to go with Tupac. Um, oh,
Good stuff.
okay, hold on. We got Ice Cube in there. We got Tupac in there. Um, we gotta have Eminem in there for sure. Ice Cube, Tupac, Eminem. Um, man, we definitely gotta. I wanna say Bone Thugs, but they're a group. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I feel like they're so much response. They're so responsible. You know what I'm saying?
We put
Um,
them 3 straight up and down, right?
you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. And then you gotta throw Tech 9 in there, because
Absolutely. I mean,
because I feel like each of everybody I just named, uh, they ushered in a particular type of era. You know what I mean? Like Pac was his own, you know what I mean? He was his own being. He was his own type. Ice Cube, like the NWA era, like bro, like he ushered in that. So
yeah.
Ice Cube covers the Dr. Dre, Easy E, you know what I mean? Because he was the mastermind behind the pen. Then you have the Bone Thugs that ushered in a new type of flow. Do you got Eminem? Eminem changed rap game, period. You know what I'm saying?
It
And then
is technical.
you have your Tech 9 who said, I'll build the industry outside of the industry. And ain't nobody fucking with him on that stage or in that studio. You know what I'm saying? So it's like what person said, you know what, the industry don't want to rock with me, so I'm gonna just go get me a business partner and then become #1 in the world, going platinum, getting platinum plaques. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Selling out shows, you know, getting your own liquor, you know, made, like building a fortress, 7, 8 buildings. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's crazy.
It's crazy, and it's crazy to see not only that, but what he did with merch and with the merch game.
He changed the
Yeah,
game because
it's real.
now there's so many people that go through strange music that they don't even like broadcast it. Like some of the biggest names in music, not even just hip hop, have toured through Strange and have sat down with Tech and Trav and have asked them, how did they do it?
Yeah,
How did you guys do this? Because they don't want, you know what I mean, to deal with the industry no more. I want to do it myself. If you've noticed, there's so many people that have taken that strange music format. Who was doing merchandise like they were? Nobody.
right.
Who was doing meet and greets and doing certain things, like, you know what I mean? And having no, I've never seen any record label with a street team.
No, yeah, it's
And you
pretty
feel me?
crazy.
Let alone, and I mean, let alone street teams in every state.
What's crazy to me, I mean, I've seen some similar platforms come out since then. It's one of the things I love about Rhyme Sayers here in the Twin Cities. What Rhyme Sayers is doing is similar in the sense that they're an independent, they've amassed their own style and everything, but they look to indie rock, to the punk rock scene, to look at how they're selling their merch. And I think Tech drew from that a little bit as well. And it is interesting to see, how there was two different types of hustle, and it felt like hip hop early on was all about pushing your music as hard as you could. And while that was the case somewhat in punk rock, I think it was more they were trying to sell as many T-shirts as they could to get to the next spot. And so meshing those two together as well as they've done at Strange and here at Rhyme Sayers, it's pretty cool to see the progression of it.
Oh yeah, I think it's incredible because what it did was it made everybody feel like they were a part of the situation. When you have a meet and greet and you actually get to meet your favorite rapper and talk to him, I don't care if it's just for 30, 40 seconds, and you have to be mindful that this is a man with thousands of fans. This is a label with thousands of fans. He's went platinum, so that's 1 million sales. There's
Right.
millions of people that rock with you, to be able to be like, yo, thank you so much. You saved my life or whatever. And they actually take the time out of their day to do that. I didn't see none of that. You know what I mean? Like, you had to meet your favorite rapper in a mall on accident, or at Olive Garden or something. Like, holy shit, this damn, this Snoop Dogg over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't, a lot of those big names, they didn't make themselves accessible. And
Right.
Tech, and Strange was able to say, look, man, we'll do like a little, and granted, not to take anything away from the big artists, because they do in-store signings and stuff like that.
Right.
I
Right.
remember, Busy Bone, a few people, but Tech still has that format to this day. You can't get close to a Drake. You
Right.
can't, you can't get close to a Travis Scott. You
Yeah.
feel me? You gotta see them from the nosebleeds.
Right.
You're not gonna be like, yeah, I got a selfie with Drake. He got the agents from the Matrix with him. You're not
Right.
about to get past him. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, I want to give you this opportunity at the end here to just kind of talk about your music, your merch, everything that's going on with you right now. Kind of just use this last little bit of time to talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Okay, so what's going on with me musically right now? Um, I got a project I'm doing with Tech right now. Uh, it's a pretty dope project involving some Hollywood movie producers. It's
Okay.
it's it's a real incredible situation that Tech just put me in. Um, so I'm working on that, and I'm working on, of course, an album and a film. I'm working on an album and a film, 2 films. I'm working on, you know what I'm saying? So I got a couple things going, and I'm just trying to take what the technicians and our soldiers have given me, and I want to take it to the next level.
Absolutely.
I want to take it to the next level. Like I feel like, okay, we know what we got. We have this platform. We have this mission that we're on to you know what I mean, to push this, you know, agenda to just help and uplift people. So now what I want to do is I want to get with the mental health agencies like NAMI. There's one out here, the National Alliance Against Mental Illness. I want to start going to hospitals and pulling up, being like a guest speaker at group therapy sessions, talking at schools, stuff like TED Talks, having stuff like seminars where I don't even go to rap. I just go to talk. I'll sit
Absolutely.
down and, you know, I do like what's his name, Tom Bilyeu. I don't know if I said his name right. He has a show called Impact Theory, stuff like
Yep. Yep.
Gary V, Grant Cardone type stuff. I want to get into that lane of where, yeah, I have music, you know what I mean, check that out, but I'll go sit down with Joe Rogan on a podcast, stuff like what we're doing right now, like
Right.
just doing everything in my power and our power to really raise awareness.
Absolutely. And that's one of the big things. And it's why I'm so glad that you joined the podcast here to talk with me, because it's something that is very personal to me. It's something that's very important to me, is to get that out there. And I've talked about it here and there throughout my interviews in the past, but this was a chance for me to really talk about it with somebody that I felt had more of an ability to talk about it openly. And so I'm really appreciative of you taking the time to do this.
Oh man, it's love, man. This is what it's all about. I could do this all day. I don't get tired of it. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? It's like I was having a conversation, probably with myself, but I was like, I think I found my purpose. And you know what I mean? Like, you know how, like, as a child, man, I always wanted to feel like I had a place. You feel me? Like I never knew my real father. I never seen something I could identify myself with and say, that's what I'm supposed to do, or that's the model of what I need to do in this world. I never had that. So it was literally, I went through everything I went through, and that's how the universe works. So it's like, okay, now I could become a staple for the people going through everything that didn't have this or that went through the same thing. And your purpose now is to uplift. That's my, I feel like I found my purpose. When I do these shows and I come up and I see people with, you know, semicolons tattooed on them, and I see people wearing Mental Health Matters King ISO shirts that they got from Strange Music or they got from the show, and they want me to sign it, or they tattooed, you feel me, or they're crying, and I'm like, yo, it's life after life after life is being uplifted. Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and it feels like a really healthy thing to do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Shout
Yeah.
out Pyro, I see you.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, I just wanted to thank you again for sitting down with us. If you want to shout out your social media here, and then to have everybody just kind of stay tuned, tune into yours. Anybody that's just catching up now, this will be downloaded, put onto YouTube. So anybody that maybe missed some of the beginning of this or missed any parts of this, can feel free to check it out there as well. But if you want to just shout out your socials and everything else.
Oh man, okay. We there? We there? We still here?
Yep. Yep. Now I got you.
Man, people, shout out to King Cash. Shout out, you know, Strange, everybody over there. Hit me at the Real King ISO on Instagram. Hit me at King ISO on Facebook. Um so Cash is funny, he said though. I'm mainly on Instagram, and I'm mainly on Facebook, and I, you know, I be on Snapchat sometimes. I kind of be on Twitter at the Real King ISO every now and then. But yeah, shout out King Cash. Let me remember. I got this. Shout out Pyro. Shout out Tech. Chris Caligo. You know, everybody. Man, I'm just. I don't know. I feel like Will Ferrell on Talladega Nights. I'm not sure what to do with my hands, man.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey,
and shout out to you, of course. You know what I mean. I appreciate you having me on the live, and you know, really taking you know, time to actually care about what I'm doing and wanting to help spread awareness, and you know, and just really just supporting it means everything to me, man. So
I appreciate that too, and yeah, and just you know, it was really good to catch up with you, and you know, next time you're in Minnesota, we'll link up again too once all this is over and you're back on tour, and we'll sit down and chop it up in person.
Man, definitely, man. I think you're a real dope interviewer too. Have you thought about like doing kind of like maybe like Vlad style interviews where maybe you know what I mean, you like film it and edit it and chop it up and stuff like that?
We've done a little bit of that. It's something that I've definitely wanted to get into, because before I was just kind of getting audio and then writing it out and kind of putting my own spin into things where I could. But we definitely did. We had an interview with Seth's crew and one with Tech that we filmed, kind of edited up. But it's something that we're trying to get a little bit more into as we grow upcoming hip hop a little bit more as well.
Okay, that's dope, man. Well, man, you know, I'm down. Whenever y'all need
I think.
me, I'll be right here.
Absolutely, man. Hey, and I appreciate it. I appreciate all the kind words and everything. And like I said, next time you're in town, we'll definitely chop it up.
All right, man. Stay in contact. I'll do the same, boss.
Absolutely. And stay safe, man.
All right, you too. Love, bro.
Peace.